out there. I do also cover marijuana and cannabis and hemp. They're on the same plant, just different THC levels. And I met Kevin at the Industrial Hemp Association meeting back in, I think it was May in Lansing. And at that point, his company was just coming into Michigan, and they produce a lot of the machines. For instance, particularly in the cannabis as a dispensary business, it's a cash business. And I'm telling you, I've been in the back room with some of those businesses, and there's a lot of cash back there. So some of the things that he does is he has cash counting machines. But let's start off with talking about all the technology equipment you can bring to fore. And I also know that gambling is another area that you're covering. I don't know if you personally are doing that, but I know that Data Financial works with the gambling industry. And I suspect there's some folks in our audience from that as well. So give us that quick overview, if you would, Kevin.
I would love for everybody in the audience, hold on and definitely keep listening, because this really applies to all retail. Just being honest, not just cannabis related or casino or gaming related, but banking as well, and all retail that handles cash heavy operations. That's really what Data Financial, my company, is looking to serve clients that have a burden when it comes to handling cash. Maybe you could tell us a story or two, Mike. I mean, that sounds like it's pretty interesting. You've probably seen some laborious cash counting happening before, or some folks spending a lot of time.
And it's a lot of cash. I was amazed. I won't name names, but I was in the back room and it was just cash everywhere. It was like, wow, but yeah, it's a big job to cover all that stuff. But go ahead.
My company serves hundreds of banks and credit unions and casinos, and also large processing centers. So I would wager that the amount of money you saw is, a fraction of what I saw at one of these large processing centers, where we're bringing in money from like 4 or 5 different states. My company would PM and lube all the little rollers, belts, and the machine basically that's 17, 20 foot long, right at the back of a regional processing center for money, bringing in money from 5 or 6 different states. Right, that's the kind of machinery that we're competent in servicing. And my company's predominantly like 75% service orientated, but I am the cannabis cash management fella for Illinois, Michigan, and Missouri, and we can offer benchtop cash counting machines, like you mentioned. We could offer stuff, a range, right, that goes up in capability and price, obviously, but there's a lot of different things related to cash management that maybe your audience would be interested in learning more about, because it's just about efficiencies and change and growth, right? That's really what we're doing, is driving efficiencies in the retail space, and it applies to all businesses. Probably have heard of a smart safe before, maybe your audience has, but have you heard of a cash recycler? Okay, that's a machine that the banks use. Back in the day, there used to be 2 people in the safes, for example, one for deposits, one for withdrawals. Now you go to a bank, Mike, and you have a teller, and right to the right or the left of the teller is a machine that dispenses the money down to the penny. That kind of machine is a cash recycler. We sell all different types of brands to all different types of institutions. And we have one that's particularly well geared for cannabis related business, giving down to the penny on all the cash coming in, all the cash going out. It's a good way to turn cash into a digital payment. So I love that your audience is full of tech enthusiasts and maybe other folks interested in the space. So if there's any other tech enthusiasts out there that want to learn more about cash automation, get in touch with me, Mike, or the folks at Data Financial, my company, and we could talk more about it.
Well, since you've segued into there, why don't you go ahead and give that? How do they reach out? Well, usually do it at the end of the show, but go ahead, give it to us now.
You check us out at datafinancial.com, or you could at me on LinkedIn at Kevin Dusenberry, one word, KevinDusenberry. And I'd be happy to engage with you about any kind of projects regarding driving efficiencies and change on the retail side. We hear from dispensary owners all the time that after their first machine implementation, where they went from 2 or 3 hours of counting cash, they can now open a store in 1 minute, including prep all their floats for all 6 or 7 of their bud tenders and everybody that has fanny packs going to curbside, as an example. And they can close the store in a minute at the end of the day and reconcile with their point of sale, the state regulatory body, their accountant, quickly because technology counts the money really fast and then secures it. So there's cash storage and then there's cash automation, and it's ripe for this industry in particular, really all retail, because cash is a fickle thing and it's expensive to handle.
Absolutely,
So
Matt.
what is the technology that you're using, and how is it an advance over like earlier generations of money counting machines?
Well, that's what's beautiful about the tech, is that it's always evolving. We represent some of the most high-end recyclers that go to some of the big banks and the regional processing centers, all the way down to stuff that's more affordable that maybe is in every single 7-Eleven, right? Even like a little smart safe in the back that's like this yay big. Securing the money is maybe more efficient than what they were doing prior, which was maybe manually counting the money out of the drawer and then bagging it manually or banding it manually. There's equipment that can secure the money. In the smart safe example, sir, that money is then secured and then bagged for the armored car guys. There's automated bag handling mechanisms along with barcode readers and fingerprint scanners and the whole 9 yards to basically secure the money, make it more efficient. And I talk to accountants all the time. They're like, we don't like using cash. We don't like using cash because there's no receipt. Well, what if there was a receipt and it was down to the penny at reconciliation, and you could also go drill down to like the drawers and see who's, maybe more shrinkage or more loss, right? That's the kind of advantage that hardware and software on the tech side can afford really any retail. That's kind of what we're taking to market on the cash recycler and smart safe side. Reduce that time spent counting cash manually, secure it, make it more efficient, bag it for the armored car guys. There's also a technology called, or a feature, I should say, an application rather, called provisional credit. I think anybody in retail should give a darn about provisional credit, you guys, because what that is a negotiation with your bank that the money in the smart safe goes into your account right away. So we're also reducing the time to the bank with technology like a smart safe and an application like provisional credit that nobody in cannabis related business or really general retail knows yet, is still trying to figure out, but this is really common technology in hospitality, amusement parks, and big time financial institutions or banks.